Your nervous system decides what is possible for you, not you, your nervous system. So you are the person who thinks and consciously makes decisions. You're the person who thinks you're free and have all the choices in the world, because that's what we're told, right? I used to think that. Until I learned how powerful my nervous system actually is and how much it influences my life. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. Hi, I'm Miriam. Welcome to EI for Life. The other day I I had planned to do some writing in the morning. I got up, did the usual thing, getting ready, and then I wanted to sit down on the floor, which is where I now habitually sit. I have a video on that. If you're not familiar with sitting on the floor and why it's good for you, you want to watch that. Anyway, I said got everything ready. My laptop was all set up. I was getting ready to type, and I couldn't. So what I did instead, I sat on the couch. Now, in the past, what would have happened now, me sitting on the couch, I was wrapping myself up in a blanket. In the past, my mind would have accompanied this with stories. So I would have told myself things like, oh, today is not a good day for being creative, and oh, I have no ideas, or something like, well, true creativity, the true creative genius only writes when she's inspired, and today's not that day. So these are just stories my mind makes up. Some of them are practiced, those we call identity. Some of them are learned from other people, those we call, general truths. And all kinds of stories going on. Now, the important part is that the nervous system state actually comes first. How I felt, what was going on in my body came first. The stories my mind later makes up, I call it blah blah, to emphasize that that's what it is, just blah blah, is an overlay. So my nervous system decides first what is possible for me, and then my mind tells a story to make that sound plausible, to make my decision, the decision to sit on the couch, a decision I did not consciously make. To make that decision sound plausible, to find a reason, to find an explanation, a justification, whatever you want to call it, but the mind makes up a story to make what's happening, what I already did, it makes sense. Now, it took me quite some time to figure this out, to see it for myself. And when I tell you this, you might not actually believe me, which is fine. We can only believe what we are ready to see and hear for ourselves, what we are ready to actually experience. But just now that you're watching this video anyway, I just want you to, listen, keep an open mind, and then see if any of this sounds true to you. Because this explains all the decisions I thought I made myself for very good reasons, but that were actually keeping me in the place I was. So that kept me stagnating in the same life I actually didn't like. And this is why. This is what was happening. The nervous system state decided what was possible. And then I acted within those possibilities, which was for me very often a very narrow range. So I would choose jobs that would only allow me to earn certain money, or that exposed me to a certain stress level. I would have patterns with people, like I would fight with certain people, or I would get angry with certain people. Why? Because my nervous system state had this kind of relationship with this person. We were in a mutual angry relationship with each other, because that's what we established over years, and that's what we were both used to, so it was familiar. So the nervous system stayed with these people only allowed me to get angry. If there was anything destabilizing between us, if, for example, they did something that a part of me felt as rejection, I would get angry, etc., 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 because the nervous system only allowed this range of action, this range of reaction, really. So this is still the case for me, even though I'm aware of this. My nervous system is becoming more open because I'm actively working with it. But that day, for example, the nervous state still, I was agitated inside, and my nervous system wanted to be close and safe. That's why I needed a blanket, and that's why I needed to sit on a comfortable chair. Well, the couch. Instead of the floor, which sitting on the floor actually means your body moves a lot, micro movements you are not actually aware of, which are very healthy for the body, but it also means additional information the nervous system needs to digest. So that's actually stressful without actually feeling stressful. But it's input that my nervous system that particular day did not want. So to limit my input, it made me sit on the couch with a blanket. Now, what's important in my case, I have split the stories. I am very aware of the mindset stories. See, I do this movement. This is my mind, blah, 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 blah. It's like a Muppet next to my head, just going blah, 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 blah. Whatever the story is, I no longer take it seriously at all. I know it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with my life. It's just an old stories I learned to tell to make sense of my actions. And sometimes to justify my actions. Very important when you interact with other people. They will often ask you why. So you learn to always have a reason, even if there is none. Because to say my nervous system state is currently in a closed off state, it needs low input. So that's why I'm not doing this. That's why I don't want to hang out with you today. That's why I can't do anything new right now. We don't usually say that because most people are not actually aware of that's what's actually going on. What we do is we make the decisions accordingly, and then we make up stories about it without knowing that we are making stories about it, because we've all learned to do this from a very early age on. We learn the stories that are acceptable and learn to repeat those, and so on and so on and so on. And after a while, we actually believe them. Some of us, for example, might have nervous systems that need low input on a regular basis, and now we call ourselves introverts because we just make the decision to avoid people as much as possible. But again, it's not really your decision, it's your nervous system making the decision for you. So what can you do with this information? Well, the first thing is to learn to recognize the blah blah as this comes after. What's first is the nervous system state, what's going on in your body, what does your body need right now? And then see the blah blah as what it is, do not identify with it, and then just, give your body what it actually needs. Because here's the switch, you see. In the past, I would have listened to the stories, and I would have listened to the whole, a creative genius waits for inspiration, today's not the day to write, and I wouldn't have written. But because I knew the nervous system state was first, and I knew my body just needed to be comfortable and warm, I then took my laptop and put it on my lap, where it's supposed to go anyway, and typed sitting there. And I could write, because I didn't believe the stories, because I was aware of my nervous system state, and because I learned to go with it. If my nervous system needs something, it needs something. It will make it happen anyways, one way or another. So now I no longer fight with it. I just go with whatever my nervous system needs. And now I have an easier life. So, your nervous system is the one that runs the show. It allows you to see the options in front of you, and only the options that are currently possible for you in your nervous system state. So becoming as familiar with what's going on with you as possible, seeing the decisions you make habitually, seeing the stories you keep telling yourself, and starting to see the difference between the two, that's the first step towards making friends with the thing that runs your show. Because when you make friends with it, you do get to actually make the decisions you want to do. You do get to do the things you want to do. Maybe not exactly the way you thought they should happen, but once you're friends with your nervous system, you also stop caring about that, because you realize the way things should happen is just blah blah anyway. And that's what's frees up your life. That's what allows you to actually do the stuff you want to do. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.